Welcome to Tackle Talk Live, dedicated to making you a better fisherman. Proudly brought to you by our sponsors: The Boat Shop, 3J's Fourway, Pride Rods, Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle, The Lakes Insurance Agency, Lone Star Bass Trail, V&M Baits. Now on to your hosts, Ranger Daiwa Pro Staff Steve Graff and V&M Baits President Kevin Jean.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Tackle Talk Live. Once again, I'm Ranger Daiwa Pro Staffer Steve Graff, along with V&M General Manager President Kevin Jean, and we got a really good show for you today. If you want to know about Sam Rayburn, we're going to give you some inside information, details about Rayburn, what it was all about, how it was built, why it was built, what was the purpose of the lake. Was it recreation? Was it power generation? Well, why did they build? We know why they built Toledo Bend. It was for water supply and to generate power. But Rayburn, I think, was a little different purpose than what Toledo Bend was.
Yeah, well, we're going to jump into all kind of things, Steve. And the main thing going on right now, that it's 10 feet above pool level.
Yeah.
So a lot of questions we got coming on for the lead park ranger over there for the Corps of Engineers at Sam Rayburn, Mr. Linden. He's going to get on the phone with us, kind of break all of this down. Kind of what's the Corps of Engineers plan going forward. Basically, we still got some more rain coming. Hopefully not as much. Hopefully it slacks off. Are we going to get this? They need to get the water level back down so they can open the boat ramps over at Sam Rayburn.
And the lake is on the fall as we speak, but it is a slow fall. I mean, it's barely moving. It's hard to even tell how much it's moving, so little. But anyway, hopefully today we'll find out a little more information, because I know it's affecting a lot of you guys out there that have tournaments that have been canceled or postponed. Right. I know right now the ABA Open Series, our final event for June 19th, is still on out of Castle Boykin. And again, if you go out of Castle Boykin, you're not having trouble launching your boat at all. That's
basically the only place, though, you can have a tournament, Steve.
Right.
The Outlaw Outdoors average tournament for that same day canceled because there's nowhere else to have a tournament.
Right.
There is the Outlaw Outdoors Father's Day tournament the day after that, June 20th. It's a go because it got Castle Boykin. So basically, if you can get to Castle Boykins, you can have a tournament. But if not, you're just not able to have one right now. And my question to the park ranger is going to be, how fast can we get this back down?
Yeah.
June 27th is the shootout, the Texas shootout that Bass Champs puts on. Yeah. First place, $50,000,
which they're supposed to go out of probably Humphreys, if I had to guess.
Humphrey, it goes.
That tournament may get moved.
So, a lot of stuff is up in the air. So that is one of the biggest tournaments of the whole year on Sam Rayburn. So, what's his thoughts on that? And, if we're going to be able to get the water level back down in that amount of period of time. So a lot of questions we got moving forward.
We got that. We got some tournaments, other tournament information we're going to cover. We got the Skeeter Boat Owners Tournament. We're going to talk about that, who won that, how much it took to win it. And we got all that and so much more. But first, before we get to the Park Ranger Linden from Sam Rayburn, we got some sponsors we want to thank real quick.
New sponsor for this month, Toledo Health, located on Highway 6 near Toledo Town. Full-service primary care and acute care clinic. Nurse practitioners Jarrett Rule and Melissa Vines bring quality health care that's convenient to the area. Appointments available and walk-ins are always welcome. They treat it all from fish hook removal, which I'm sure they see quite a bit, to chronic conditions. Give them a call at 318-508-5323. And again, that's located at 11340 Texas Highway in Manny. So it's right there just east of the four-way stop at Toledo Town.
Last hook I had in my hand, I was with Kevin. Ooh. He couldn't get it out. Ooh. Didn't want to even attempt to get it out. But I wish they would have been open back then. I wouldn't have to drive all the way back to Natchitoches to get that hook removed. But I tell you what, places like that do come in handy around the lake. So we're glad they are there now. So real quick, the Open Series events for Lone Star Bass Trail, their championship was scheduled for May 23rd, which they already had. But now they're looking to the fall. Their fall tournaments will start September the 12th. It's an open team series, and that will be held instead of Rayburn. It's going to be on Toledo Bend. And by the way, just to compare lakes, Toledo Bend's like 9 inches above pool, not 9 or 10 feet. So huge difference.
Fishing well also.
Yeah, and there's definitely fishing well. So if you're looking for something to fish this fall, again, as we get closer to that, we'll definitely give you you more detail. But September 12th, there's their open team series. It's a 5-fish limit tournament. It'll be $150 entry fee for those events. But it'll all start again this fall, and we'll let you know more about that as we get closer to it.
And the boat shop. Mr. Raymond Kidd and his staff take great pride in keeping your boat and motor performing at its best. A certified Yamaha dealer and full support Garmin dealer offering the best in electronics and the new Garmin trolling motor. Stop by 2410 Sanford Avenue in Shreveport and let the boat shop take care of all your boating needs. Give them a call at 318-402-0399 or go to shreveportboatshop.com to learn more. Also, a new Camus boat dealer and Sea Arc aluminum boat dealer. So they carry both those brands on site there. So stop by and check them out.
Yep. While Kevin's getting Mr. Linden on the phone, real quick, I'm doing something for, I guess, a local internet magazine called The Journal. I'm writing some articles, been writing them since November. I do one each and every week. You can find it on Lincoln Parish, the Sabine, Jackson Parish, Natchitoches Parish. Anyway, it's called Angler's Perspective. I would encourage you to read them, check them out. I write stories about my experiences as a tournament angler, how I grew up as a bass fisherman, why I became a bass fisherman. So I think you'll like them. I think you'll find them interesting. So look in your local, go to the internet, look for the Journal, maybe the Jackson, whatever parish you live in, or you can go to the Natchitoches Parish Journal and click on it. But look online for those articles. Like I said, I enjoy writing them. I've had a lot of fun with them. And I also give you some information a lot of times on what, how, when, and where, what's going on, what the bass are doing. And but it's basically my perspective as a tournament fisherman and as a bass fisherman as to my experiences, what goes on our area lakes and bodies of water that I've fished. I just recently did one on who's the greatest bass angler of all time. So that was a 2-part series. But hey, look forward to possibly having you guys take a look at that. I think you'll enjoy it. Also, real quick, I want to give you an update. Let's see here, the Major League Fishing tournament tour. They are at Lake Chickamauga over there in Tennessee, and I'm trying to get them to pull up there right now. This is Group B and they have like, I think, an hour and a half, 2 hours left to fish in the day, but they are actually on Chickamauga, and Shiniki Fuqua is absolutely blowing the field away. He's got 109 pounds of fish just for today that he has caught. So I think Edwin Evers is doing really well. He's a close second place in there. Kevin Van Dam's doing well again today. I'm waiting on, they got some kind of commercial going on here right now, but if you're not tuned in, and I want to bring that up too, the Bassmaster Classic's coming up. There is nothing better than Bassmaster Live, and the Bassmaster Classic. If you want to watch every cast of every day, go to Bassmaster Live, check it out. It's a great way to watch. You know, we never thought we'd ever see live bass coverage of a tournament. Now you've got it, and just go to Bassmaster.com. Click on Bassmaster Live, and you can watch every cast for all 3 days of these events. And you will not regret it. But Major League Fishing does another awesome job with coverage of their Major League Fishing events, especially, like I said, they're on Lake Chickamauga as we speak. They're showing Jeff Crete right now. So, well, Kevin right now is actually, I think, on the phone trying to line the guy up.
We're fixing to go live here. I'm fixing to go to this. We'll go live right now.
I think Kevin's got somebody reeled in for us, and we're going to get him on the line real quick. And I got a feeling it's not Linden.
It is not, Steve. They had to go out on the boat, do something at the lake. On the phone, we hear the Corps of Engineers. Can you hear me? Mr.
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Who do we have on the phone again?
Yeah, my name is Reece Nelson. I'm the lake manager out here at Sam Rayburn.
Yeah, the lake
Reece.
manager.
Right.
So he's the one that kind of helped me out with Mr. Linden this morning. Reece is going to help us out and kind of get us directed. Everything going on Sam Rayburn. I know y'all are very, very, very busy over there, Mr. Reece. A lot going on. Current water level right now, 174. So you're 10 feet above pool stage over there at Sam Rayburn and releasing about 11,000 cubic feet per second. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. You got it right.
So Mr. Reece, it's been a long time since Sam Rayburn's been this high, and that you guys have had to start releasing water. How long do we plan on releasing water? Is there a certain level we want to get back down to before we release water? Kind of what's the plan there?
Yeah, so this is Sam Rayburn actually set the pool of record this year for the highest we've ever been. We got pretty close in 2019, and we were slightly above that this year. Like you said, right now we are releasing about 11,800, and the plan right now, so we're still sitting right at 10.4 feet high, roughly. So we're going to stay at that 11,000 until probably the NHS comes down a little more, and then over time we'll be able to start bumping up more and more of our releases. The curve, though, of how much we can up our releases, it's all dependent on the downstream situation, whatever the NHS is flowing at, versus also what our inflows are coming into the lake. So it's hard to ever give a definitive timeline. Normally, with Sam Rayburn being so large and the amount of water we'd have to evacuate to get back down to what we call our conservation pool. So you talked about being 10 foot high. We want to get back down to at least below what we call our surcharge. So technically the top of our flood pool is 173. So the sooner we can get back down to there, the sooner I can get my team off of, constant daily surveillance, being out there pretty often checking the dam, which everything is going according to plan. There's no issues whatsoever with any of the infrastructure of the dam or the outlet channel or the powerhouse. It's just an abundance of caution. We have folks out there pretty constantly. So to actually give you a timeline on when we'll be able to draw down, when we'll be open boat ramps, at most of the campgrounds we've had extended out closures until that Independence Day weekend. For right now, we should be able to get some boat ramps potentially open up before then, but it's optimistic.
What's the water level need to get down to? Just say for Umphrey that you need to get the water level down to for those certain boat ramps.
Sure. So I believe we closed off Umphrey right around 173.5.
So it's right at flood stage. That flood stage is your key number then.
Yes, sir. Yeah, and it's the flood stage is based on what the dam was designed to be, or the storage of the dam at that point. And then it's right around probably that 173, 175, 173.5, where we'll be able to open up Umphrey's, and I want to say Rayburn Park would be right around that same time frame. Now, once the water gets off of the asphalt, we do require maybe about a week and a half of dry time of that asphalt, so that subsurface material can dry out and folks aren't backing down it,
right,
and just creating just giant ruts in it.
Yeah. Now, I want to back up just a little bit, Reece. Sam Rayburn, when it was founded, back when it was founded, I guess in the 60s. And
yes,
what was the purpose? Like Toledo Bend, I feel like it was, from what I've heard, it was designed to be a water source. I think originally for the city of Houston, and it was also used, of course, to generate power. What has been the main purpose when it was designed and built? What's the purpose of Sam Rayburn?
Yeah, so Sam Rayburn is a multi-purpose project. Some of those flood control, hydropower, recreation, water supply, and fish and wildlife management. Those all play equal parts in the mission of Sam Rayburn and the Corps of Engineers out here. Now, during different times of the year, those missions have to be prioritized, and we look at public safety, life safety downstream, flood prevention or flood mitigation of anything downstream of us to make sure that we're doing our best ability to control those floodwaters downstream. So this type of year, whenever we get such heavy inundation, I believe I saw somewhere this was historic rainfall for kind of East Texas area, that flood fight or that flood control has to take priority over some of our other missions.
So, and that's basically why y'all, it took so long to be able to release water from Sam Rayburn to get it off the dam, is because y'all are trying to prevent flood prevention for down South Texas?
Yes, sir. So we've got, basically we're part of the Natchez River Basin, which includes Natchez and Angelina mostly. Sabine, I think, falls in there as well. But NHS being unregulated, we essentially have to catch the water that's in the Angelina River so the NHS can pass through Town Bluff, Danby, and then we hold back as much as we can until flooding just decreases, not necessarily totally subsides,
Correct.
but goes down to a certain level where we are able to start releasing some of the water from the Angelina.
And so, who makes that decision, Reece, when you to release what amount? Is that a decision the Corps makes, or is that somebody downstream saying, "Hey, stop the flow. We can't handle anymore"? Who makes that decision?
I would say it's a holistic decision. It's basically we have a water control manual that dictates, when our releases happen downstream. It was designed and with input from our key stakeholders downstream of us, so all the emergency management, any of the river authorities, water supply, all the cities and municipalities downstream. But ultimately, it does come down to what the lake was designed for and how we're supposed to pass those inflows. And so it is the Corps of Engineers essentially makes that call. And then as we need to start passing water through Sam Rayburn, we let those key stakeholders downstream, so that emergency management teams and the counties know that we're going to have to increase.
Reece, I know you guys have been working around the clock, as you said, keep an eye on the dam with this water level and everything where you're at. And it's on a small, steady decline right now. How do you feel about where we're at the water level? And we got it coming back. You guys have it going back in the right direction. Just personally, how do you feel like? I mean, do we got a good grasp on this, or?
Yeah, I would say all along we've had we've got some of the finest forecasters. So daily, the core team up here, we get updates as to what they're projecting. If we get new rain on the ground, they'll send us out new forecasts to let us know kind of what they're forecasting our lake level to be at, and then they'll also send out predictive forecasts as to what National Weather Service is predicting is going to be rainfall within the river basin.
How does the month of June play out? How do you guys see the month of June?
So right now with rain on the ground, we have been falling roughly, it's minuscule, but 400s, maybe 500ths of an inch a day. That potentially could increase without the rain, without any additional rainfall. Now, obviously, we're just getting into kind of tropical storm season, so there probably will be more. The good thing, getting on the backside of this, this spring inundation that we've had around this area is now, the reservoirs on the drawdown. It takes a lot more for the rivers and the tributaries coming into Sam Rayburn to recharge and actually start the lake to climb back up.
Yeah.
So once you get on the downfall side of the lake coming down, then it's easier to kind of maintain that momentum going that way.
Reece, another question I've got. I know here on Red River, the Corps of Engineers is pretty much responsible for all the boat ramps along the Red River waterway. On Sam Rayburn, there are some private ramps, but how many ramps are y'all responsible for? And as you said, you like to allow about a 1 week dry out period before you allow traffic back on them. But, I guess until it gets to that 173 mark, nothing's going to change with those boat ramps, is it?
Yes, sir. So, I believe, off the top of my head, I think we have 9 or 10 boat ramps that we manage, or public service areas around the lake that do have a boat ramp.
Right.
So right now we have, I believe, Ralph McAllister is the only one that's open that's Corps managed. Then you do have the marinas on the lake that have boat ramps. So you've got Jackson Hill, Powell Park, and Shirley Creek that are open as well. And then Angelina County has Castles Boykin that is open and available to launch at as well. So like I said, and that 173 mark is just for maybe just Humphreys, and maybe Rayburn Park. Basically, what we wait for is the water to come down off the asphalt parking lot, get back onto the concrete, and then it takes about a week. So, there is some availability, and like I said, recommend reaching out to them prior to coming out and make sure that they have room on the ramp. But as we do start to build, as the lake level stays on the decline, and we're able to open those boat ramps back up, we do have a website we keep updated. We'll usually send out press releases as what we plan on opening back up as well.
And Reece, also too, when it comes to fish management, is that strictly Texas Parks and Wildlife, or are y'all involved in some of that decision making on fish management?
So mostly is the state, Texas Parks and Wildlife. We do inform them kind of, what our spring outlook's going to be. And then as we're making releases, they are one of those key stakeholders, as I mentioned earlier, that will keep informed. And then, knowing we're kind of hitting, maybe the spring spawning time frame, something along those lines, we'll let them know. And they'll provide input into that, and we try to work with them as best as possible.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Mr. Reece, we sure appreciate you coming on today and kind of enlightening us again, where we're at, what y'all's plans are, and kind of the future and how you see things going. But it definitely looks like you see the water steadily decreasing over the next month or so until, like you said, but now I know we're going into hurricane season here.
Yeah.
But hopefully we can keep that decrease and get the boat ramps back open as soon as possible.
Yes, sir. Yeah, and I appreciate you all having me on. Anytime you need anything, feel free to call back. And if there is any updates that you all would like I said, feel free to reach out.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Have a good one, gentlemen.
All right. There we go. We heard straight from the horse's mouth, so to speak, right there. Mr. Reece did a great job of explaining what's going on, how the lake is falling, how they're controlling it. So, but again, we all know the more rain they get north of Sam Rayburn, it's just going to continue to stay up. And right now there's a major thunderstorm coming through North Texas as we speak, dropping a bunch of rain outside the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
There is, Steve. And again, I'm looking back at all the tournaments the weekend of the 19th and the 20th and the 27th. Again, they'll be able to go out of Castle Boykins. But as far as all the other boat ramps opening back up, that's going to be a close call if he's wanting a week span for that boat ramp to dry off.
You're talking July 4th. He said Independence Weekend at the earliest.
At the earliest. So now he did say Umphrey's 173. The other ones are not.
Yeah. And he also said Powell Park he thought was open.
Correct.
And Jackson Hill. He acted like it was up. Make sure you call Jackson Hill Marina before you go there to launch, because not for sure about that one. I know I fished out of Castle Boykin, and it's not as steep or as high level as Castle Boykin is.
Right.
So, but you might, like I said, maybe you can check out, give them a call. I'm sure they'll welcome your call and tell you whether they're open or not. So,
but I was to have Mr. Reece on, the lake manager. When we talked this morning, he was the initial one that I had wanted to get on the phone, but he had conference calls through the day. Right. So I was glad we was able to get someone like him on the phone. You heard it from the horse's mouth. So.
Yeah, and he did a great job. And again, you can always go to their website, which I assume is Sam Rayburn Corps of Engineers. You can click on it, find out all the information. One app I have on my phone, it's called Lake Levels, and it's all the Texas lake levels. It's an app on my phone. I can click on it and go to any lake in the state of Texas, and it will tell you the exact water level, the rise, the fall in 24 hours, the 10-day forecast. It's got everything on it. It's really a great app, and it gives you the wind speed for that particular day for the next 24 hours. It's a really good app. It's called Lake Levels. Check it out. I think you'll like it. It comes in handy, I know, for me on my phone. All right, now we've got some more sponsors we're going to recognize. We're going to give you another MLF update from Chickamauga here in just a second. But 3J's Fourway, Kevin.
Store within a store and a great place for lunch with an awesome deli and some of the best fried chicken in the South. 3J's Fourways offers gas, food, and ice, but Cypress Knee Outdoors offers a great selection of hunting and fishing gear. Products by Santone, Strike King, Spro, Gamakatsu, and the #1 soft plastic on the planet, V&M Baits. Hunting supplies from Primo, guns from Winchester, Remington, and Mossberg, along with a great selection of ammunition. Stop in and say hello to Mr. John Abraham and his great staff. It's Cypress Knee Outdoors inside 3J's Fourway, located 1 mile east off of I-49. Give them a call at 318-238-HUNT, HUNT.
Keys Toledo Bend Tackle. If you're headed for Toledo Bend or Sam Rayburn, hey, stop in to Keys Toledo Bend Tackle and get a fishing report from Ben, from Keith. They'll tell you exactly what's going on, what the fish are biting. They even have their pegs full. You can get plenty of whatever you need there, worms, jigs, spinner baits, V&M worms, soft plastic. They got frogs. They got everything that you could want right there at Keys Toledo Bend Tackle. Whether your trip calls for bass fishing, white perch, catfish bait, ultimate fighting shiners, Keys Tackle has you covered. Located Highway 21, west side of Toledo Bend. As you cross the Pendleton Bridge headed west, it'll be right on your left before you get to Carice Creek. Check it out. Keys Toledo Bend Tackle.
Pride Rods, custom rods built in Montgomery, Texas. The finest rods ever made by Mr. Billy Kistler, constructed with the finest North Fork composite blank by Gary Loomis. They carry a complete line of spinning and casting rods for both freshwater and saltwater applications. Pride Rods pass not only the eye test, but performance as well. Ask your local tackle dealer if they carry Pride Rods and pick one up. Try it for yourself. To learn more, go to priderods.com or call 832-418-6040.
And the Lakes Insurance Agency, last but not least, they are an outstanding sponsor of our program. We appreciate all that they do. Independent insurance agency, been taking care of Texans insurance for over 25 years, offering auto, homeowners, boat, recreational, vehicle, life, health, and commercial insurance. Owner Clark Moore, who is a local guide and tournament angler, who me and Kevin fish against quite often, understands your insurance needs as a boat owner and wants to be your go-to guy for all your insurance needs. So give him a call for a free quote. The agency is located at 805 Southeast Stallings, Suite 3 in Nacogdoches, Texas. Give them a call at 936-205-4467. That's 936-205-4467.
Steve, it is the Super Bowl of Bass Fishing Week. Bassmaster Classic starts this week. Lake Ray Roberts right there in Fort Worth, Texas. This is shaping up to be an interesting event. So all the high water, the shallow water fish can be a player. Without all this high water, no doubt it's going to be one. Offshore, big worms, crankbait, football jigs, so on and so forth. But all this high water, this is going to open this field up. And it's a small lake. It's a little smaller lake than maybe they're used to. It's only going to be 50 competitors, though, so they'll be able to spread out. The freshwater opens the door for a lot more anglers. I think the offshore deal, you could have maybe picked 15, I would think. Maybe that are just offshore hammers that get the ledge fishing deal. But now, with all as high as it is and all the extra water, it's going to open the door for some of these shallow water guys.
I actually did an interview with Chris Zaldane last week, and before all the rain and the water levels came up, this was going to be an offshore event. It was going to be one offshore, and it still might be, but he did say now with the situation, water up in the bushes and fresh water in the lake, their guys, the bank beaters, are going to have a good event here and could be a major player in this event. No longer is it just going to be an offshore event, which again, with the high water, as you said, it will help spread the anglers out a little bit more. Guys that want to go beat the bank will have plenty of water to fish. And I've got a couple of guys that I'm going to throw out there, and I'll give my prediction as far as weight. John Cox, great shallow water angler, and this guy right here was Angler of the Year last year, Clark Winlett. This is his kind of lake. He grew up on these South Texas lakes that are a lot like Ray Roberts. So don't be surprised if Clark Winlett is a major player in this game, as well as Chris Zaldane. But Chris will tell you this is not his home body water, even though he lives 25 minutes from there. He's just started learning it since the Classic was announced as going there. But Chris Zaldane will be another player as well.
And Clark has a lot of knowledge on Ray Roberts. He's been there a lot. He's fished a lot of tournaments on Ray Roberts. So there's no doubt Clark will be somebody to watch out for. My pick is somebody that's been hot. He's a young man that has been very hot, very good offshore fisherman, especially with the new technology now. And Steve, I think with this standing timber for what he did on Lake Fork, I think Patrick Walters is going to be somebody to be reckoned with in this event, just because he is so good at finding those fish that have not been pressured, that have not been dealt with, and there is some big ones on Lake Ray Roberts.
And Texas has been good to him.
It has been very good to him.
So it may be right up his alley, like you said, especially if there's fish are suspended and the electronics come into play in this game on this particular body of water. He's a guy you better look out for.
So I'm going to go with one shallow, one deep guy. Patrick Walters is my deep guy that I'm going to say that is my pick to win it all. If the shallow water fish and the shallow water bushes happen, Bill Lowen, to me, has been there. He's got enough. He don't have a lot of knowledge on Ray Roberts, but just somebody that's been in the Classic enough that can kind of handle everything that's going on. But if they are in them shallow bushes and flipping those bushes is something that can win, Bill Lowen is one of the best there is at that.
And I'll throw one more name out there, Steve Kennedy. He's another guy. Boy, I tell you what, you get him on shallow bite and flipping bushes. That's his cup of tea now. He lives for that. And I don't know, Steve Kennedy's demeanor, to me, he's such a laid back, takes everything in stride. He don't get upset over anything. He just, oh, well, it happened. I lost a 6-pounder. Oh, well, let's catch another one, Yeah. It's just, and I think that plays big in a tournament like this, but I'm going with Clark Winlet. I think Clark's going to be the guy that's going to pull this thing out.
There's no doubt.
I look forward to seeing what they can do. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to predict 3 days. I'm going to say 61 pounds.
Yeah. I was going to say 58, 59.
Yeah.
Just shy.
Yeah. I went high a little bit. I thought 58 as well, but I think you're going to end up – somebody's going to catch a 24-pound bag, and then they're going to come back with an 18-pound bag. But when it all averages out, I imagine right at 21 pounds, I think is what it may take.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. And it could be 70. If it lines up with all these storms and everything's right, it could be 70.
There ain't no doubt.
So Ray Roberts has got some good fish in it. It's going to be a great week. And as you alluded to earlier, Bassmaster Live is just going to be off the charts this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yes.
Very, very excited to get that underway and to get. And I'm not going this year. It's the first year V&M hasn't gone in, Lord knows how long. I've went the past 6-7 years that I've been with V&M, and this year we're just not able to go. Back in March when everything was going on, it was supposed to be in March with COVID.
Yeah.
I just backed off. We have so much going on in the fishing world right now, and as everybody knows, inventory is such an issue, and we was trying to keep up with everything going on. So I just kind of said, no, we're not going to go. They moved it to June, and I didn't have a spot. So it is what it is. No, nobody's fault. But hey, V&M's going to miss it out. Miss out not being there with our booth, but we will be back next year for sure.
Well, again, Davey Height, Mark Zona, Tommy Sanders do a tremendous job of covering this event. Not just this event, but all the Bassmaster Live events. They really do. It's just it's very entertaining. It's very educational. They break the tournament down. I mean, what each angler's doing and how they're doing it. Maybe what new baits that somebody's throwing. They do a really good job. It's just again, if you want to be consumed, but I will warn you, if you start watching, it's kind of like Lay's potato chips. You're going to be there a while before you finish the bag.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
But anyway, you're going to be there a while to watch that whole thing. It's just so riveting. They do a wonderful job with it. Real quick, once again, Major League Fishing's at Chickamauga, and the leaderboard right now is still Shin Fuqua. I think he's up to 112 pounds of fish, and the cut line for today is at 20 pounds, and right now it's Alton Jones Sr. Is at 30.1. Right behind him is Jeff Crete. And so these guys are fishing Chickamauga right now. It looks like, I know I was there about a month and a half ago. The lake was way down, 4 or 5 feet down. Now it's up to the edge of the bushes. So evidently they've had a lot of rain over there as well, and the guys are fishing a full body of water.
Yeah. So, Steve, kind of going back, tournament results, something we covered very well last week, the Skeeter Owners Tournament.
Yes.
Tournament this past weekend. Heard it had a great turnout, great crowd. I believe I counted 8, but let me make sure here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, we had 8 overs caught. A 982 was the overall big bass prize. He won an FXR 20 Yamaha Show, Power Pole Minn Kota, fully equipped. The biggest underslot fish was a 308. That is a very large under.
Yes, it really is. That's a
That
football.
is a short football.
Yes, exactly.
So again, we had 8 overs caught. 308 was the largest under, and then the ladies division, Megan Johnson of Rolette, Texas, was a 258. She was first place in the ladies division. So again, great job by Skeeter and all those guys to put that event on. Again, heard it was a great event, great turnout, and congratulations to all the winners there.
Just to give you an idea how big this event really is nationwide. I mean, I'm looking at the list of names: the Tennessee, California, Arkansas. Let's go down the list: Missouri, Oklahoma, Kansas, Colorado, Mississippi, Missouri. I mean, it's just Louisiana, Minnesota. It's incredible how far people come for this Skeeter Owners Tournament, or really a lot of the Bass Champ Tournament Trail events that they host. And so good job. Again, people follow good circuits. And, of course, the Skeeter Owners Tournament, just a great job by the Skeeter family and the Skeeter group out of Kilgore, Texas there. They do a wonderful job and putting on this event. Bass Champs is the guys that run the tournament for them. And, again, Chad Potts and his staff, they do – it's just first class.
Absolutely.
All the way around.
Absolutely.
So
going back to upcoming tournaments for Sam Rayburn, most everything going on Sam Rayburn right now. Toledo Bend doesn't have quite as much, doesn't have any big tournaments going on right now. So Sam Rayburn, June 19th, we've already alluded to the ABA Open Series going out of Castle Boykins.
Yeah.
June 20th, the Outlaw Outdoors Father's Day Tournament going out of Castle Boykins. The June 19th Average Joe Tournament has been canceled. There's just not an open ramp. Castle Boykins is already taken up 19th by the ABA, so there's just not another ramp for their Outlaw Outdoors crew to use to have the Average Joe Tournament. So, unfortunately, they had to cancel that event. Then, Steve, again, going back to it, the next weekend, June 27th, the Texas Shootout. Unless they can get Castle Boykins. I don't know what they're going to.
See, but an event like this, it's this big. I just don't know if they can move.
I don't think Castle Boykins can handle it.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think Chad will probably postpone it.
Or move it to Toledo Bend.
or he might move it. You know, you never know. But as I'll get in touch with Chad over the next week and just kind of see what he's thinking. I know it's early right now for him to make that call.
It is.
So he won't make that call probably till maybe the week of the event. And we'll see what he's got on his mind.
But if he's going to move it, Steve, he's got to call it sooner than that.
Well, that's true. And two.
Or if he's going to postpone it. There's a very good chance he might postpone it.
Yeah, and again, if you want to move a tournament, it ain't like this, we're just going to move it over to Lake of the Pines.
No.
Well, that boat ramps right now are so loaded up right now with tournaments, it's crazy. But Toledo Bend, I'm with Kevin, it could be a possibility. And because there ain't a whole lot going on in Toledo Bend right now.
Yeah, no, there's not. But I would bet if he has to do something, he's going to postpone it.
I would think so, too. All right, well, I think that's going to wrap it up for this week's show, unless you got something else, Kev.
I think that's about it. So good luck to all the guys at MLF. Again, Bassmaster Classic starts Friday. Make sure to tune into live. It's going to be some awesome coverage.
And if you're on a body of water where the water is high, respect people's property, especially respect the no-wake zones. I see it on a lot of lakes that I fish where guys run through these zones or they get on pad way before they're supposed to. Honor the buoys that are marked out. They're out there for a reason. They're not just stuck out there for somebody else's benefit. They're for your benefit and for the landowner's benefit to keep high water and keep rolling water off their, the big wakes off their walls and off their docks. But respect it. That's all I'm asking you. Just respect people's property when you're out there. And but other than that, hey, if you want to be a sponsor of our show, we'd love to have you. Again, contact us through Facebook. Just send us a message, and Kevin will get back in touch with you and let you know exactly what the package is all about. But we'd love to have you. We got a great list of sponsors now. We continue to grow that list as we speak. So looking forward to having more of you on as we move into late summer, hopefully heading into the fall. So, well, that's going to wrap us up for this week. Thank you for tuning in. If you want to continue to catch a lot of fish, you've got to watch Tackle Talk Live.